Hey everyone, I wanted to make a quick video just of me doing some swatches and testing out these Uni Nano Dia Color LEDs for mechanical pencils and just give my thoughts on them really. So you can see we've got the 7 colours there. I've also got some erasers. I've got a regular HB mechanical pencil lead that's just graphite. And then I've got a range of 0.5 mechanical pencils. I don't quite have enough for each lead, so we will have to swap these out throughout. So I've got regular cheap printer paper here, just thin cartridge paper that's smooth, and then I've got one of these typical cheap sketchbooks that's got a bit of textured paper to it. So before I actually start swatching, I'm also going to keep a graphite pencil. Again, this is a HB lead, 0.5, whatever this brand is, Stein Pentel. I do like Pentel brands, and this is my favourite mechanical pencil, Graph Gear ones. And the reason I'm keeping this on a swatch is because I basically wanted to see how dark this lead is compared to the colours, because I generally tend to work with graphite a lot, and honestly the reason I'm doing this more than anything else is to test how dark these LEDs go. So it'd be cool to compare them to a regular graphite. So I have already loaded up a few of these pencils with different LEDs. Let's see how light we can go. I should probably start a little bit lighter really. Again, I want to see how dark I can go. Just want to get a general feel for how these LEDs feel, I guess. I wanted to start with the blue because realistically this is the one that I will probably use the most out of all the colours, because I only bought these for sketching. And I'll try to go darkest on the right and palest or lightest on the left so that we can see how dark they go. And the reason I've done 2 swatches is so that on this bottom one I can actually go in with the graphite, because the graphite I think is a little bit darker and I see people working with both together. I kind of wanted to see whether mixing them would make it a little bit darker. The mechanical pencil that I've put the blue in, by the way, is a Staedtler Mars Micro 0.5. Again, these are all 0.5 LEDs. Doesn't really matter what pencil you use. I'm going for the red one next. And I will say immediately, first thoughts, because I've had these a while but I haven't used them. The red does not go down as nice as the blue. And it also does seem to be a little bit disappointing in terms of how light it is. I realise it's not going to be completely accurate for you guys watching on a video either, but you know, I'm doing the best I can, so hopefully it's still visible. I know my lighting is very bright, but also this red is pretty light. Yeah, a little bit disappointing this one. I'm even having to actually press quite light with the graphite because, you know, it's quite a contrast, whereas on the blue, the graphite looked like it worked a little bit better. And the reason that I'm actually doing these in the top corner, by the way, is because in the future I want to maybe get the Pilot mechanical pencil LEDs and compare them below it. And by the way, the mechanical pencil that I just bought for this red, I bought a few cheap on eBay, but it's this one called a Kuru Toga. I will put links to everything that I've used in the description box below the video. As I always say in my videos, they are affiliate links, so if you buy anything through them, it does earn me a couple of pennies. It's not a lot, but it helps support the channel. So if you've ever bought anything through them or you plan on, then just know I really appreciate it. So thank you very much, guys. So next up we have the pink. Now, if I'm being honest, I bought this set of colours. Well, I bought them as a set, so I don't think I'm going to ever really use them all. I don't see myself sketching with the pink. Probably not the orange, maybe not the lighter blue one, we'll see. FYI, the other mechanical pencil I bought is this Rotring Tiki 0.5. I bought 2 of these. Basically, I didn't want to change the lead too much if I didn't have to. So I picked them up pretty cheap. As mentioned, I'll put links to them as well. This orange, by the way, that I'm starting to use, this is even worse than the red or similar in terms of not only is it quite light, as was the pink, but it's very, very scratchy. It's not particularly pleasant to use, at least with my first impressions. Obviously, if you've used these for a while, you might change your thoughts, but yeah, I'm not feeling this one. Oh, balls. Okay, so we've got our first lead snap there, if that showed up on camera. I don't think I had that much lead poking through to justify it. Maybe I'm putting a little bit too much pressure on. It's worth noting, though, that these pens are actually supposed to be harder wearing. They're supposed to snap less. The name of the Nano Dia Color is supposedly because they have, I don't know, tiny amounts of something from a diamond in them or something that's supposed to make them harder wearing, but potentially also lighter in the process, which not particularly hard wearing as you can see, but I guess a lot of mechanical LEDs are not going to be at 0.5, even graphite. So at this stage, I do need to test the light blue, the green, and what else are we missing? The purple. I think it's just those 3. But I need to change out the leads. So before I do that, I also wanted to test, as well as this sort of regular cheap printer paper, I wanted to test, if I have my sketchbook the right way around. I use this just for like swatching colours on more of a textured paper. It's a little bit of an off-white paper. These are your typical cheap sketchbooks, 20 pages, 140 GSM or whatever they are. And, you know, I got this from Hobbycraft. That's in the UK, but you can probably get these pretty much anywhere else in the world equivalent. It seems to be like a generic art shop staple, home brand. You know the kind, but yeah, it has a little bit of tooth to it, a little bit of texture. I have a bit of a love-hate relationship with these, but I find that my graphite is darker on these usually. So I figured it's probably worth testing these colour swatches in this book as well, just in case it makes a noticeable difference. Another thing to note is, I know these swatches are only small, but I am using a 0.5 lead, so, you know, I don't want this video to go on too long. Maybe I should have gone for the 0.7 leads instead. Anyway, move back to the cartridge paper to finish off the mint blue, the lavender, and of course the green. The mint blue and the green were definitely disappointing and quite light to me. The lavender wasn't bad. We will take a proper look at these at the end though. I'm going to test smudging them, I'm going to test erasing them, and we'll see which of the papers I could get darker values on. One thing I will note is that the lead does go down quite quickly, it wears away. I don't know what they're made out of, but compared to graphite, I know I'm swatching them, so maybe I'm running through them quite quick, but I do find that they are just burning down really quickly. They're definitely a lot nicer going down on the textured paper though. It's less scratchy, it feels smoother, and it just seems to go down a little bit nicer. It just requires a lot less effort. Okay, so hopefully you can see this on camera. It definitely went down darker on this paper that's got a bit of tooth to it. As mentioned, it went down a lot easier as well. I was going to say for me personally, oh, look how much it's smudged already. Probably my sweaty hands. We're going to test that in a second. But for me personally, the blue is good enough on both. I was going to say overall, maybe the purple. The red is okay, but it's quite difficult to work with. You've got to press quite hard. But again, if you're working on this paper that's got a bit of texture to it, I do think all of them have gone down darker and are a lot more usable. Let's test how erasable they are though. In fact, no, seeing as my hands are already completely blue from testing it, let's test how smudgeable they are first. So I'm going to start with the cartridge paper. I'll just do it on the top section because as mentioned, I want to keep these swatches a little bit so that I can compare these with future brands next time I get some other brands to actually test them against. I'm going to use the same finger for smudging the pink, orange and red because it seems a lot more subtle. Probably because they're not as dark. The blue one was just smudging straight away. I mean, even regular graphite would, of course, smudge, so I'm not saying they shouldn't smudge. It's more that I just wanted to test how smudgeable they are. As you saw from that other shot, the blue sort of smudged very easily, even when I didn't mean it to. My hands are dry, generally. You know, I've not got anything on them, but whether they're starting to get a little bit sweaty because it's warm, I don't know. But if so, it's only subtle. So it gives you very beautiful fingers. So in terms of smudgeability or blendability, they're actually not that bad apart from the blue, which again is the darker one. It probably depends how much of the lead you've actually got down on the page. For me, you can see on this one, it was quite... Let's give it a go, actually. Let's smudge this one as well. Yep. Barely even had to touch the blue. In fact, even these other colours are just... Yeah, so whilst I preferred this sketchbook for the... Sorry, I'm trying to use a different finger for each one where I can. Whilst I preferred this sketchbook, in terms of getting darker colours, a lot easier to use, a lot nicer to use, but it looks like they will also smudge a lot easier on this one with minimal effort. So last of all, I've got a few rubbers here. Let's just use this one. Let's see how easy it rubs off. Which bit shall we do it on? Let's just do it straight through the middle. Okay, my first thoughts are actually it's not bad for erasing, especially on these lighter colours, the pink and the orange. I'm not really cleaning the eraser or anything, so this is pretty minimal effort. Yeah, they come up really well. Again, the blue one maybe puts up a little bit more of a fight with it being darker. You do get a slightly coloured eraser from it if my camera's focusing as well. And a lot of rubber rubbish all over your desk. I assume it's going to work pretty well on this one. Oh, actually, I thought it would bring this up really easy. I know I shouldn't be blending through the colours, but again, this was only a quick test. I thought it wasn't sitting very well, the lead on this page, so I thought this was just going to come straight up. Let's use a different part of the eraser, but no, look at that. It's like staining it. So I'm getting really different results depending on the paper actually. I wasn't even sure whether to test this on 2 papers originally, but it just goes to show you. Look at the state of that. Yeah, it makes a big difference. Okay, so there you can see how they compared to one another. I'm also going to put this in shot. This is from quite a while ago. Hopefully I can fit this in. This is the Col Erase pencil colours. So these are not mechanical pencils, but these are ones that are supposed to be specifically for rubbing out and stuff. I do actually have some other pencil colours. This is an old test. I'll put links to that kind of video as well. But just in case you want to pause the video and look through them, again, it is difficult on a video. So this video has probably gone on way too long already, but in short, I do think the blue is dark enough. Some of these other colours are okay. It's a bit more personal preference. I kind of like the purple. It definitely makes a big difference depending on whether you're using this cheap cartridge paper that's got no tooth or this textured cheap sketchbook, both of which have pros and cons as you saw in the video. Much easier to write on the textured one, but also a little bit messy and smudgy. Again, these are the 0.5 leads. If I can throw these in shot, you can get 0.7 leads. And I believe that the Pilot Eno colours that I wanted to compare these with at some point in the future are only available in 0.7, so bear that in mind. Honestly, I'm a little bit disappointed seeing as I bought so many. I'd probably have just bought 1 or 2 colours instead of a full mixed pack. You can buy a single pack that has mixed colours in as well, so that might be a good option. Again, if you want to support the channel, I'll put links in the description box below to where you can buy them from. Also, as mentioned, they do wear down faster than I was expecting, but as it says on the pack, you do get 20 in each one. So realistically, they're inexpensive and they do last a while. And last of all, they do have some cheaper brands on places like Amazon, various colours that I haven't tested. We've got the Pilot Eno ones that we need to test, and also Pentel do a brand as well. So I'd be interested in comparing those. Let me know if you guys know any others or want to see anything specific in the video. Hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching, guys. Make sure you subscribe for more content. See you soon.